Hi, welcome to the next edition of Watching the Pioneer Meta. If you like this kind of content, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification for future videos. We're on our way to 2,000 subs. Let's get there together. I got 4 decks to talk about that did reasonably well. One of them is a return. 2 of them are kind of returns to 2 decks that have been around for Pioneer for a while. The other 2, one is a little bit some more way spicy. The other one's, it is fine. It's great to talk about it. But we have some changes to discuss first. So and let's get into that, and then we'll get into the 4 decks I have to talk about. If you want to watch the standard watching the meta, go check out the ACG channel. The link is in the description. And let's get into it. So we have demons basically staying put at around 16%. Red deck wins was at 2. And the last 2 weeks, it's gained 10% meta shares, which is really decent. Phoenix is on the uptick. Thankfully, Dimir Bounce is on the downtick. Man, is that deck horrible as a concept of a deck. Guerrero Prowess just got taken out for red deck wins. A lot like standard, that seems to be the norm now. Guerrero Prowess is basically getting replaced by red deck wins. Again, Zora's Control is on the downtick here. Same with Green Devotion, slight uptick, in Sacrifice. Not really noticeable upticks here. I mean, it's between 0.3 and 1, like a lot like the Jund Sacrifice. Incarnation still a little bit down. Lotus Field, again, is not making the resurgence that it's supposed to. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now. Why isn't this thing going up? I guess with Red Deck Wins, it's kind of nice. And Grow Prowess. These 2 decks definitely could prey on you, but you should be able to beat Demons, Phoenix, Bounce, Control, Green Devotion. Like, what are you doing? You should be able to prey upon, maybe even Sacrifice. Yeah, I think Sacrifice too. Mardu, Breach Fang is definitely not a good one, though. We also have another Fang down here for Abzan. A slight uptick in Merfolk. I've seen this deck quite a bit recently. And then Zur, a little bit of uptick. Nothing really noticeable there. So that's basically all we have to talk about with regards to meta shifts. Nothing really all that surprising. Honestly, the only really noticeable difference is basically people got off Dimir Bounce, basically went to Phoenix. That's about it. Let's get into the 4 decks I have to talk about. All right, so let's get into these 4 lists. I'm trying to get through them as fast as I can because I am having a little bit of a coughing fit. Girl Boats came back and has been putting up a little bit of results. Some 3-3s, some 5-3s, I think. Getting top 3 or something like that as well. Overall, this deck now is picking up more Lovestruck Beast, which is a little interesting. This version is not... It is still playing the Stormseekers. Prosperous Innkeeper, interesting choice. Still the 8 Elves, 1 Frillback. Some Macron Wars, some Copters, some Bone Crushers, and a Boat. And some Macron Wars. I think I said Macron Wars. And a Chariot. Got Baywat for aggro and also Pixie, Dimir Bounce. Cinder Vines for a little bit of Artifact Enchantment hate. Graveyard hate with Clothis. A little more Graveyard hate and also Artifact Enchantment hate with Picker Poison and Frillback. This is not really Graveyard hate though, but it does have Flying hate. Some Sky Sovereigns for aggros, I think, because you do want this against that. You basically can deal 3 damage to their stuff. And against red-based aggro, you have Melee. And that's it. That's the deck. Let's get into the next one. Next, talking about another deck that has made a little bit of resurgence. That is the 6 elf version of Angels. Not really much here that got picked up. They are playing the Overseer, which is the flex spot. Normally, you could either play Aven Interrupter. If you need something good against Control. You could also play kind of really anything in this slot. This is kind of, like I said, it's really not necessary to be Overseer. If you ever get a 3-drop Angel that could replace this slot, that's actually good, look out. This deck could be a legit thing. But a lot of people view this deck as a meme, even though it does put up decent results and is a very good deck. Still have the Valkyries, the Resplendent Angel, Gahada, Bishop, Wings, Skyclave Appetizers, 4-4, and Kayla's and Coco. For aggro, we have Portable Hole. We definitely would want to probably trim Elves there. Against Lotus Field, Phoenix, we have some Damping Spheres. Archon as a nice way to stop aggro, also against combo decks, making them only cast 1 spell per turn. Redain as a nice way to also stop like Wrath, Sweeper, stuff like that. welcome for card advantage against control, mid-range. Normally I prefer something like, what do you call it? Shaper Sanctuary, but this also works for that too. Rest in Peace, that's a nice graveyard hate. And the reason why I like Shaper Sanctuary is because usually I like to cut elves against mid-range, and Shaper Sanctuary is on the same mana curve. SDS is not really required. Keep in mind, nice interaction. Portable Hole works with Kayla's Reconstruction, so you can dig and get some portable holes. Not necessarily that you would want to, but if you Kayla Reconstruction X5, you'll take the portable holes. We have 2 more decks to talk about. The last deck is the spicy one. Let's get into the next list. So, Lumra is now showed up a little bit, got a little bit of result. This deck is built on the back of Virtue of Strength, getting it down, raise your opponent's face for lethal after having tons of all your mana. Since they're all basics for the most part, besides your fetches, you should be able to do a lot of damage. Growth Spiral, very nice here because we do want to ramp. Deluge is a nice way to find your Lumra, or your Rage, or your Fable. Splunking for ramp, Analyst for ramp, and then we have Nissa and Lotus Cobra for help facilitate extra mana when we keep getting back our courtyards and stuff. We are not playing the infinite combo in the deck, which is the port, the Demir port. Basically, you can keep getting back a Lumra on repeat and keep reanimating them and cycling them to get basically infinite triggers with Nissa and Cobra. Besides that, against aggro, we have Pyroclasm. Graveyard Hate, we have Hearse. Also, Explosion against aggro, and Baloth. Also, Baloth helps against Pixie or Demir Bounce. We're Yori on deck. Artifact enchantment removal, we have Cindervines. That is the deck. Pretty solid overall. If you're interested in playing a spicy deck and you like lands type strategies, this is a nice deck to try. Even it's nice on your wild cards too, because I mean, yeah, you have these rares up here, but uncommon, you have some uncommons and a lot of basics. So basics don't take up any wild cards. Plus these common lands fetches, they're not too bad. We have one last deck to talk about. Let's get into that. So last on my list is the Rona combo. Use Rona, Mox, Helix, keep untapping. This makes this untap. You basically tap this, add an extra mana, and then you just kind of loop it. You also have Flood Caller, which helps combo with Helix. Trainer to help dig for your Helix or your Mox. Then you have Sleight of Hand to dig. Talent as a backup plan. You have this Talent big enough if you want to be able to loop your Talent, your Trainers to find your combo pieces. Then you have Kitza. Actually, this might have been a very close deck that I just faced. That was standard. Okay, that was standard. So I don't really think it has the combo yet because of Helix and Mox. This is a nice little pickup. Common, uncommon, uncommon, common. So there's a decent amount of commons and uncommons here. Like the foundation pieces. Yeah, you might have to invest in some like 2. This right here would be 12, 14 rares and 4 mythics. Actually, no. Additional set right here too. Alright, take that back. 18 rares. But we also have some Swan Songs for a little bit of counter magic on the board. Hearse for graveyard hate, protection for a little bit of spot removal. Counter magic against control. Drowner for aggro. So we bring in Drowner and protection against aggro. And then we probably try to trim back on stuff that's less important, like Kitza and stuff like that, and fit that in. And that's basically the deck. Let me know in the comment section which one of these decks is your favorite. I've not really tried to see which one of these decks I could pilot. I probably could do the Gruul aggro, mid-range, and the Angels. I'm not sure if I have the cards for this deck and the the Lumra deck, but if I do, let me know in the comment section which one of these decks would you want to see me play in a live stream or for a video. And until next time, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Talk to you guys next time.